Welcome to Gospel Tangents, the best source for Mormon history, science, and theology. I'm Rick Bennett. I hope you've enjoyed our conversations with Steve Pynakker, the evangelical host of Mormon Book Reviews. In our final conversation for his 50th episode, my 560th, by the way, Steve's going to tell us more about what future plans he has for his channel and what other historians that he's enjoyed talking to. So check out our conversation.
One of the few things, just meeting all these people, so I get in touch with Mark Staker. He through John Whitmer Books,
Right.
And they send me a copy of his Tunbridge Farm, and I email him, and I'm not hearing back from him for a while, and then finally I contact the publisher, just say, hey, just if there's an issue, I'm not, and so, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I've been meaning to contact you, Steve, but I wanted to wait for the results of the pollen study to come in, and then I was going to come on your program then. Well, we thought that these results are going to be in like May or by end of June or mid-June. And that was part of the reason I think you told me that you put the Mark Staker interviews where you slotted them, because we were anticipating by the end of, to have the results. Now, I will tell you folks that I did get a preliminary result about 2 weeks ago from Mark. So I know one of the pollens has been confirmed. And he just emailed me the other day saying he's been really busy. He's going to wait, get back to me as soon as he gets the results. So at any time, folks, as soon as Mark has the results for the pollen study of what they were growing at Tunbridge Farm when Joseph Smith Sr. Owned that lot, it will be here. It will be breaking news on my channel. Now, I never anticipated something like that happening.
Yeah. I look forward to hearing those results too. So that sounds interesting.
It is. And that's the thing about this channel is, I created this channel because I wanted to emulate a lot what you're doing, but also because I'm an outsider, maybe bring my perspective. But I'd be like, I want to have these guests and authors come on my program because I have questions I want to ask them that maybe because you're in your bubble and I'm in my bubble, you wouldn't think to ask certain questions. And so I go, oh, should I ask that question? Or, oh, I would like to know more about this. And so just having on all these people, my goal was to review the book and then try to have the author on. And boy, I'm getting really lucky with that. So and that's just really an awesome experience. So season 2, because I'm not at home, during the summer, I spend my times up in Northern Florida. But season 2, we're going to start taping in October, November. And I've already got quite a few books that I've already read that, of course, so I'm going to do those reviews. I'm going to re-engage Bushman's book because I want to do a review of his. So I'm doing a lot of new books as well. But I think either the very first episode or early on, my very first episode is going to be Mormonism and Battlestar Gallactica.
Nice.
And I just remember at our very first, when I did our interview on our joint production, I had the Cylon from there, and I would just love. So I really know Battlestar Galactica, and I know Mormonism, so I think I'm going to be able to make some connections and maybe make some observations that haven't been made before. And
Cool.
so I'm so excited about taping that, and we're thinking of getting a green screen behind me, so we'll see. We're going to play around with
you're getting all fancy. You're going to pass me right by.
Oh no, that will never happen, Rick. I am a fraction of your viewership, and but you're who I judge myself by. Like I look at your numbers and I look at and I'm like, okay, I gotta, I'm trying to emulate you in so many different ways. But I just wanted to preview to the audience that Battlestar Galactica is coming around the corner, and I got some awesome books. I've got some more awesome guests coming down. And I really think that if it wasn't for you, my channel would probably be a much smaller channel. Perhaps I would have given up on it by now after just getting like 20 views, 10 views, 8 subscribers or something like that. But you definitely did help it take off. And I want to give props to the 4 different publishers who have promoted my channel. Digital Legends, John Whitmer.
John Whitmer Books.
Yeah, John Whitmer Books. Boy, I don't know. I always get David and John mixed up. Signature Books. And now, just recently, Greg Cofford put out put out the newsletter. And so I got this huge surge of viewers, had one of my best days yesterday as a result of people wanting to watch my review of Don Bradley's Lost 116 Pages. And I just want to let my audience know that I have it scheduled for September 12th. that I'm going to have Don Bradley on. And we've been playing phone tag for months now. But we're going to have an interesting conversation because we're going to talk about his book, but we're also going to talk about his faith journey. And him and I's just our little comparing notes the other night when we were talking, our faith journeys kind of parallel each other. So I'm really looking forward to having that conversation with him. And again, you've interviewed him, and I wouldn't have known anything about Don Bradley. I cornered him at MHA, and I just told him, I said, I just want you to understand one thing, Don. The reason I bought your book wasn't because I was going to have this YouTube channel and I was going to have you on my program. The reason I bought the book is because I wanted to read it, and I watched you on Gospel Tangents, and I ordered the book with no idea that I was going to be doing anything like this. So I just want you to know I was a fanboy long before any of this stuff started. So that's just another example of somebody that, you helped introduce me to. And so it's cool because I kind of feel like I know all these people because they do the interviews. And then so often when I do like a pre-interview where I introduce myself to the guest and say, listen, I know you, so now I got to tell you a little bit about me. And it always seems to work out that because I have that pre-interview, it always makes for a better interview as a result.
Yeah, well, Don's fun. I've known Don for years, and I think I mentioned it in our interview, his first interview, we talked about Fanny Alger. And the title was Dating Fanny Alger, kind of a little play on words there. He started out, by all accounts, Fanny was hot. I just love Don. I think he's awesome. So Don is probably, him and Kurt Bench, probably two of the funniest people you'll ever meet at MHA. So they both have a great sense of humor.
Yes. And actually, I have to tell you, I think that one person who has a great dry sense of humor is Mark Staker. Some of his emails he sends me are just laugh out loud funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I get such a kick out of him. He just has such a dry sense of humor. And again, to know people like on that level is so awesome too. They're more than just authors, they're human beings. And once you get to know them and you feel like and befriend them, it's like a really great privilege that I'm able to do this. There aren't a whole lot of people doing this. Like, getting back to Christopher Thomas and I, about once a week for about 2 hours, we talk to each other because he doesn't have anybody to talk to at the seminary. And all my evangelical friends are like, I don't know what the heck you're doing, Steve. So we both are like just having these conversations with each other because we have no one else to talk to.
Well, and it's funny because the one or two times I've talked to Chris, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry I'm talking so much. But Chris does like to talk too. So it might be a 3-hour conversation when I got on with Chris. So we'll be talking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I remember we surprised Chris because you and I were doing a Zoom call. And I said, hey, let's have Chris, because I had scheduled Chris to come on previously. So we threw him on there. And boy, he's like, you could tell he's a fan of yours. Oh, Rick Bennett.
Yeah, Chris is a good guy.
Yeah, he really is. And and like we'll even discuss your latest guest, the pros and cons, what the points they're making. And so, we critique your episodes. It's just between him and I.
Interesting.
So there would be many Mormons.
I'd like to be on fly on the wall for that.
Exactly. There would be a lot of Mormons who would love to be hearing our conversations we have with each other. And by the way, there's a very good chance that him and I are going to get a private tour of the Washington, D.C. temple when it opens up in April.
I saw that. I was thinking about getting on the media tour. Are you going to do the media tour or just the public tour?
Well,
there was a media tour thing.
Oh, well, there's private tours that are going to be given to people a week before they do the public opening. And so
you and I are going to have to talk after this, and you can give me that information.
And speaking of which, maybe there will be another temple that we will be visiting one day in the middle of the desert, and that should be an interesting experience as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So, and I guess that's pretty. We pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. I did want to say, everybody, I'm trying to figure out a way to get Alice Cooper on my program.
Me too.
I know. So one of us, we're going to get him. Maybe you'll get him while he's skiing in Park City sometime, and you'll beat me to the punch. But I have a lot of interesting questions to ask the guy that have never been asked by him. He was on Team Restoration, and now he's on Team Evangelical. He was born and raised in the Church of Jesus Christ, and I've talked to some top people in that church to see if there's any way I can contact him, because I want to ask him about his time as growing up in the Church of Jesus Christ. Now, people don't realize this. Alice Cooper's grandfather was a president of that church, And his father was a leading evangelist in that church. So they were an important family in that church. And then as he got older, he became what you call a born-again Christian. So I think that would just make for a fascinating interview.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions for Alice.
I know he is the subject of a lot of urban legends. A lot of Mormons thought that he was a Mormon.
Right.
And so I thought, I wonder even like, does he even know any of the urban legends about him? I just wonder, and stuff. So I don't know. I think it would be great to have him on. So either way, maybe Alice Cooper down the road. Never know. It seems like I'm on a pretty good streak here. I never would have guessed having Richard Bushman on. So Jared Hess, Alice Cooper, I'm coming for you. So, well, Rick, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. This is a last minute thing. Originally, was going to do Christopher. We're actually filming this the day that it's going to be released. I have very slow internet here, so I got to get this baby uploaded very quickly, and hopefully we'll be up and ready by 4 p.m. Mountain Time on my heavy hitter Fridays, as I call them, where I have all my big guests come on. So you're a heavy hitter.
It's funny,
Rick.
that you think I'm a heavy hitter. That's hilarious to me.
Well, you are, dude. You got fans and stuff, and people love the work that you do. And that reminds me, it's so weird, like, to even have fans. Like, I was on Reddit, and I just happened to comment on Reddit about something on one of the Mormon Reddits. I just commented, they asked a question, I just made a comment, and I tied in, and by the way, I talk about this on my program or whatever like this. And of course, on Reddit, it's all anonymous. This person said, I can't believe that you commented. Thank you so much for commenting on my Reddit. I said, I loved your program. It's like, I love it. It's unbelievable. You actually honored me and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, wow. So there are people that are fans of mine that I don't know who they are. They've never commented, but they watch every episode. And it's a lot like how I was with your show. I watched your show for years. You didn't know who I was, but I didn't miss an episode. And it's just kind of cool to, be able to kind of pay it forward by being able to reach out to somebody and them being like, wow, that's really cool, and like, yeah, it is really cool, because when Rick did it to me, I thought it was like the coolest thing that ever happened to me. So Rick, you're about the coolest thing that ever happened to me.
Well, thank you. I feel embarrassed when you say things like that, but that's awesome.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I want to remind my audience to like and subscribe, and to hit the notification button so that you will get a notification when a new episode comes on. I guess, I'm going to provide a link to Rick's Gospel Tangents channel in case you hadn't heard of him in the description. And I want to thanks again, Rick, for coming on. And is there any last words you want to say to my audience?
No, just love the interfaith work you're doing, and love your channel. So just keep up the good work.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Rick, for being a lifesaver. Thanks for coming on. Everybody out there, you have yourself a great day. Be well, be safe. We're going to get through this together somehow, some way. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Steve Pynakker, the evangelical host of Mormon Book Reviews. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go check it out there on YouTube. Just do a search for Mormon Book Reviews. You can't miss it. And you'll see some of his awesome interviews with people all across the Restoration. So it's a great channel, and it's great to kind of partner up with Steve on this joint production. It's been a lot of fun. In our next conversation, I'm excited to introduce Dr. Bruce Van Orden. He's the author of a biography of W.W. Phelps, and we'll get more acquainted with them.
Because he got so interested in it and went about the vicinity inquiring more about the background of Joseph Smith and the origins of the Book of Mormon. Because of that, businessmen who were supporting his newspaper got annoyed, and they took out charges against W.W. Phelps for indebtedness. And still, in the state of New York, a person could be jailed for indebtedness, and he was jailed for 30 days.
If you'd like to hear the entire interview uncut, please subscribe for just $5 a month at patreon.com/GospelTangents, and you can hear the entire interview before everybody else. If you'd like to watch the entire video for just $8 a month, you can either subscribe on YouTube, Patreon, or my website, GospelTangents.com. Just click the yellow subscribe button, and I'll add you to our Gospel Tangents Insiders group so that you can see entire videos. For those interested in a PDF transcript, you can subscribe at either Patreon or on my website. For just $10 a month, I'll send you a PDF as soon as it's complete. If you'd like a copy of the paperback as well as a PDF, just sign up for $20 a month at either Patreon or my website, GospelTangents.com. Of course, you can buy individual transcripts at Amazon.com and just do a search for Gospel Tangents interview and you can see all the things that we have there. Don't forget to support Gospel Tangents with an awesome t-shirt like one of these. You can subscribe at Apple Podcasts at tinyurl.com/gospeltangents. Get our latest updates at facebook.com/gospeltangents. Also, you can get our Twitter updates at Gospel Tangents. Click here to subscribe, here for a transcript, and over here we've got more of our great videos. Thanks again.